this video. Me tell you my own opinions. It doesn't mean I dislike you if you enjoy Fortnite the way it is now, and it does not mean that Fortnite is a shitty game. I just believe that it is straying away from the core gameplay that made people enjoy it so much back when it first came out in 2017 to roughly like 2019. Because if I'm being honest with you, crossovers have ruined Fortnite for me and for a lot of people, because nowadays you have entire seasons dedicated to Marvel, and I'm a massive Marvel fan, so I was excited for this season. But I, as a pretty decent player, I would say, have played the least amount of Fortnite this season than I have in the entire last year, because all these crossover items just have ruined the game for me, personally. It's grand to have one or two, but when the game is filled with crossover items, with basically no counter ability, that all have lock on, like you can see in the background, the new mythics are just too strong, right? So it's basically whoever gets the Marvel shit wins, especially in this in background, right? In this Marvel season, the skill part of Fortnite has been entirely removed, and that has ruined the game for me, because as a kind of OG enough player, I played Season 3 Chapter 1 and Season 5 Chapter 1, and I was never the best, so I didn't really play much of it back then, which I regret now, because looking back on it, OG Fortnite was one of the greatest games to ever be made, and I really wish we could go back to that formula, but obviously we can't. But now Fortnite has just become a visual mess where it's just whoever can spam better wins, and in my opinion, that has just ruined the game for me, right? And it happens with every crossover, because if a crossover item is bad, no one's really going to use it, you know? That's kind of the whole reason they make them so strong, because they don't want to offend companies, and that's cool and all, but like, Fortnite went from a game where you could have fun with your friends to a game where you have to sweat your balls off to win a public match, because the items have no counter ability and no outplay ability, right? Because how am I supposed to outplay a lock-on turret hitting me for 30 damage every 5 seconds, you know? Like, especially for someone like me, who isn't really a big fan of builds and plays no builds, it's basically impossible to get a win for me now, right? My friends who play builds, they've got their wins, and I'm happy for them, right? And I just do not like what Fortnite have gone with these crossovers, because it went from a game just kind of being sillier, really, and kind of being childish, which is what made it so good, to a game just full of fucking crossovers. And one or two is grand if it's like a skin, right? Like what they did with Tim Burton, I love that. But not when the game is filled with just unbeatable items, right? And not when it is filled with items that aren't even created by Fortnite themselves, but created based off a company's property and as part of a collaboration, right? I think Fortnite, they found their secret formula with the Thanos back in OG, right? Because you had an LTM for that, and anyone that wanted to play public with the normal guns, the kind of fun stuff, right? They could play that. But when you were forced to use items to enjoy Fortnite, I just feel like that that's where it becomes a problem for me, right? Because in my opinion, and I say this is a very common opinion, realistically, right? You should be able to enjoy the game itself without having to use an item. I think Apex has done amazing with that at times, right? And I think Fortnite were good at that back in OG, but now it feels more like a cash grab than a game that there's actual passion behind. And while yes, I understand that there is the new reboot mode, you know, I love it, right? It's so much fun, and it is all I really played of Fortnite. I stopped playing Battle Royale entirely this season, because I just stopped enjoying it because of all these, right? They had crossovers perfect, and then in Chapter 5 they just started overdoing them, specifically in this Marvel season, because you have the most unbalanced items in the game that just do not make it enjoyable to play, right? As I already said once before in this video, and this is one of my biggest annoyances with the season, so to speak, is the War Machine auto turret. Because if you have something that just basically does everything for you, you're basically making the game play itself rather than the players play the game, so to speak, right? And while yes, some of you might be like, "Oh, just play reboot if you don't want to play the Marvel season." I, as a person, enjoy variety, right? And I also enjoy getting a win umbrella every season because it is a kind of achievement I have for myself every season. I play the game until I get the win umbrella, right? And then that is my goal for every season. It keeps me coming back to the game, and then after I have a new goal, right? Or I just play for fun. And that has just been ripped away from me this season because I am unable to win when I could have the best loadout in the game, and then I get hit with an Iron Man unibeam with an auto turret on his shoulder, and then that's 150 damage alongside the new tricycle thing that chase you till they explode. There's no timer, there's no shooting them out, right? Well, yeah, to an extent, it's grand to have crossovers, like with the Hollow Purple, but do what they did with that and make it limited. Not rechargeable, limited. Because I'd be using these too, because, you know, that's how you fare for yourself, right? But if to me it just doesn't feel like Fortnite anymore because I could go and play a game without using any of the proper guns, just using Iron Man gloves or War Machine turrets. And to me that is not Fortnite, right? It shouldn't be and it never has been. And they need to tone back on the crossovers. A crossover season is grand if they do it right. But this season they have done it wrong in my opinion. And I just do not agree with how they have basically made it more of just whoever gets this wins rather than genuine skill. And that's all. Thank you.